Much love to you and yours. This is Siren Buddha Medicine. I like to show you comparisons um, so that you can see the parallels with what I'm saying in my story. So when I was younger and I would tell people that I could see things or that I could hear things, the only narrative that I received from our culture was, shh, don't talk like that. You're crazy. And, they shoved me in a hospital. They gave me pills. And there was no other narrative that let me know that there are different kinds of people within a community. And the narrative that I got was to compare my gifts and abilities to was I must be a witch. There are stories about witches, and it never occurred to me because I didn't know our history of the Moorish past, right? The Crusades, that those were our people. It did dawn on me when I was reading the word that one man's devil is another man's savior. Narrative is essential and perspective is key. So when I'm looking at these people that were displaced in history, it didn't dawn on me at the time that those were my people, okay? So I took their advice because I didn't feel like I had another narrative at the time, and I was a teenager and I was in my early 20s, and once they get you in that hospital, they give you pills. You have to do exactly what they tell you to or you cannot get out. You're literally a prisoner in there, and you're a guinea pig because they try all these medications on you and you don't have a right to say no. Part of your prerequisite for getting out of the hospital is following all the rules and regulations that they have for you. So you don't have a right to your opinion. It's whatever the doctors and nurses and the staff perceive about you. That's what you must do, is you must follow the narrative, and that is that you're crazy, you're not special, there's nothing in your blood talking to you, you're not chosen from the Most High with gifts and visions, you're just crazy, right? Because if you were one of the ones from the church with dreams and visions, then the church would have let you know that, right? They wouldn't have labeled you as less than valuable and played games with your head and made you feel like you don't fit in, right? Because the narrative is that church is for everybody, come as you are, right? So when things don't line up, it's very confusing, and it's like this social gaslighting thing because you just don't know where you fit. So you take their medications and you accept their narrative and you pray to God that somehow it all pans out and you get better. That you're able to accept the narrative, right? That you're able to accept the reality that someone else chose for you. And in doing that, you lose yourself because you have to assign yourself to what other people are telling you that you are. You don't even get to make your own phone calls on your behalf. They make all the phone calls for you. Your housing, your medications, your counseling, your appointments, your everything. And so there is a feeling of helplessness and total unempowerment. And as far as vortexes come with communication and what they call a throat chakra, which is an energy center that's attached to your sacral, right? So if you've been through abuse, sexual abuse, and you are empathic, you have clairs, your clear audio, you're psychic, you're different. And inside the mental institution that I trusted to correct my narrative because I thought I was faulty, because I just didn't fit in. And I was so young, and I had been through so much abuse that I was a prime candidate for the programming. And I had rejected the grooming for so many things. I rejected the grooming for being sex trafficked. I hate going to the dentist. In past videos, you've heard me saying how I'm just terrified of the dentist. It's one of the hardest things for me to do. While I was in the institution, I had my memory wiped. I had what they call electric shock. I had electric shock like at least twice. It's supposed to just damage your short-term memory so that it's supposed to help recalibrate you, because if your trauma and your pain is so great, they do something to like reset your brain or shock it or whatever, and that's supposed to help you with your memories because everything is so traumatic for you. But that didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. That was before I knew that I was being gang stalked and that other things would actually trigger me and set me off. That it was actually the lifestyle and the lies that I was cast into, and the trauma. The mental games were causing instability. And at the time, I didn't know that there was a pattern for so many of us that they call the chosen ones. Now, whether you call yourself a chosen one because you have extraordinary abilities that were given to you, that you were birthed with, like extra sight or empathic abilities, or just creative abilities, or whatever it is that makes you a little different than your average next door neighbor or person you're going to school with or church with or in your community with, right? Something is different, and those are the ones that I'm calling the chosen. However, these tactics that are being used by the government as far as policing are similar, okay? So the same tactics that are being used for whistleblowers, for people who, for whistleblowers for different things like sex trafficking or government scandals and things, are the same tactics that are being used for the chosen. And there's an overlap because the same kind of things are being done to the chosen that are being done to others in the community. The chosen's intellectual and creative property are being confiscated, and they're being policed, and they're being held back by hackers that make it difficult for them to produce their work, by a lot of distractions and things in the community that make it more difficult for them to produce their work. On top of the hacking that makes it difficult to upload your work and to concentrate, and the noise campaigns and the financial attacks that are being done along with the smear campaigns that also attack your finances. These things are being done deliberately. They're also there to try to set the individual off balance mentally, to push them back into the institutions, back into a system of control. And because of the past narrative and the lack of information that's going on with the general population, most people just assume that they're just off balance mentally, and if you just give them a pill and some time out and a pat on the back, everything's going to be okay. And if it isn't, oh well, they're just flaky, they're just not right in the head, right? They don't fit the regular narrative, and that's without them realizing the other narratives that are out there. Now, this also, interestingly enough, has parallels with the Nazi paperclip doctors and the kinds of techniques that they use to cause split personalities and trauma, which is a lot of the reason why you hear me harping on the MK Ultra programming. This is not misinformation. This is my life story. These are accounts of things that have happened to me that Spirit has let me glean to be able to see the connections and the parallels to these things. So the same person that screams out about being sex trafficked when they were a child, and there's parallel with me too, incest survivor, and also there was other things that happened to me as a child over and over again, where when I spoke out, I didn't get the help that I should have received as a child. And I watched it snowball, and I watched those people that I accused end up in law enforcement positions. And I watched the law not help me, and I just wanted to be saved. I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted my life to be okay. And that's why I accepted the narrative, the mind control of the mental health institutions. I'm saying all this. I want you to watch this clip that I have in back of this video to be able, it's like evidence, or like, you just tell me what you think about these parallels, because they use these policing tactics for all of us. And I just really wish that we would wake up as a not just the chosen, but society as a whole.
I want you guys to think about your mental hospitals. A lot of your horror movies are based around asylums, mental asylums. Most of us know that there was tortures that went on in the mental asylums, lobotomies, different types of things like that. Those things are real. A lot of your MK Ultra survivors have been through mental hospitals. A lot of them get put back into mental hospitals to reset their programming if it starts to break down. A lot of your survivors have been raped in mental hospitals. A lot of them have been put in dental type chairs for programming and resetting purposes. Most of the survivors that you come across are going to be terrified of the dentist, and there's a reason for that. They use a lot of medications for programming as well. For instance, your CPS kids will all be on different types of medication. If you go buy a medication and you pull out that pamphlet that comes with it, there's a big long thing with risks and side effects and those type of things. They have to test those medications on people, and they test them on the people that are in the mental hospitals. They test them on the children in CPS care because they can give them the medications and find out the side effects and use them for experiments. So there's so many layers of things that are being done. It's just the worst evil that you've ever seen.
I went into mental hospitals. I was in solitary confinement because I fought back so hard, because I started seeing the corruptness in the mental hospitals, and that became my fault too. She was in the hospital when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was going to Boniol Elementary in San Bernardino, California. I also went to Del Rosa Elementary in San Bernardino, California. But at the time that I was going to Boniol, she was put into Patton, the hospital for the criminally insane. I don't know why. And I remember some of it, but I don't remember a lot of it. But I had to go on visitation to Patton. Boniol Elementary sits on the same street, right next door, pretty much, to Patton Hospital. And they would I'd have to go visit her. And when I visited her,
Oh, and as for the 4th of July, this ain't being free. Being human trafficked by the government and them allowing Masonic influences to police us for our creative and intellectual property while they try to drive us crazy and make us commit suicide or drive us back into institutions is not free. And not being able to say that without them accusing people like me of misinformation is another lie and another way to try to control the narrative while they continue to assault us and abuse us right in everybody's face. And the injustice that our society is going through, the amount of people that it takes to police people who are speaking out against the atrocities and the injustices is amazing. The amount of corruption. Literally, people are using their children for street performances. Like it's a pastime. It's become a pastime in certain churches for people to use the gang stalking. They have an app where it's like a game where people get incentives and payoffs. This is nothing new, and it's not disinformation. It's just the plain, cold truth that's stranger than fiction. Yes, it's surreal, but it's real. Ashe. We want to be free and actually live our lives. And it may not happen, and it may happen. I'm going to go with it is going to happen because the amount of corruption is so condensed that if something is not done, we're already lost. So much love to you and yours. This is Siren Buddha Medicine, Life Coach 369A. Siren Buddha Medicine is the female principle. Wisdom. I'm